4 bites.
I'm sorry if I'm really like jittery or tangenty because I had an energy drink. So.
Me too.
You guys are
Buonalani.
What'd you say?
I'm drinking iced coffee. So.
Oh, well.
In a racetrack cup?
Yeah. I made Juan get me a cup of ice so I could dump my my Monster.
Okay.
Monster
I thought it was like from racetrack. I was concerned for a moment.
Oh, like straight from the tap?
Was just nugget ice.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
That's a little better, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had a sugar-free Red Bull.
Oh!
Because that's my soul.
Dude, sugar-free Red Bull is literally like my crack cocaine.
I literally was in Target. I said,
I cannot go to Target without getting 2 sugar-free Red Bulls because I need one for while I shop and one for whenever I get home.
The one and only time I've ever tried a Red Bull was when I was like 10, and I thought I was so I thought it was so bad. I thought it felt like I was drinking alcohol. I remember trying it, and I was like, oh, and then I spilled it.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
you should try it again. It's so good.
Yeah, I should.
Dude.
Red Bull, sugar-free Red Bull.
Sugar-free Red Bull is literally
Jacob only
like
drinks
crack
like
cocaine.
the regular ones.
Yeah.
But
I don't love the regular ones.
I love the sugar-free.
The regular ones are like, I don't know, they're too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it.
They give me Monster taste. That's for sure. Yeah.
I like the
Sugar-free
sugar-free
is so much
Monsters.
better.
Do you remember in middle school? I'm sure it's like a universal middle school experience, but I specifically remember going into Miss what was her name? That art teacher that we only had for like a year. Sadie?
Yeah.
We would go in Miss Sadie's class, and because it was basically like an effing free-for-all in there, we would all sit down at our tables, and we'd pull out our hot fries and our hot Cheetos and our giant cans of Monster that had the twist-off lids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And we would just sit there and eat hot fries and drink Monster like we're not 12 years old.
Did they not tear your stomach up?
This thing was made of steel back in middle school. You couldn't touch me. Now I got IBS.
Yeah.
Now it don't work that way.
Yeah.
But middle school, hot fries and Monster was literally, that's all I would eat. And then I'd get to lunch and I'd be like, oh yes, the rest of my hot fries and my Monster. What about nutrients, kiddo? Have you heard of vitamins?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a rough time.
Meanwhile, I'm like deep throating Vienna sausages.
Oh my god.
Dude.
I love them. I still do. You know me. I remember when I used to raid your pantry for Vienna sausages.
Oh my god, that's right.
Because you always
You're
had
the
them.
only reason I kept them.
Yeah.
Dude.
I can just pop those suckers in.
I would have some, and then it's like when you get super hyper fixated on something, and you're like,
so
oh my
bad.
god, I really love Vienna sausages.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at a can of Vienna sausages for years. Please don't bring it around me. I had hit it so hard, and then they sat in my pantry forever because I was like, no.
I literally, you open my pantry and it's like the ghost of hyperfixation's past. I swear to God, it's crazy. Like you can see like my protein drink phase, my SpaghettiOs phase, my grits phase.
SpaghettiOs is not a phase.
My oatmeal, no, it's not. It always comes back. It always comes back. That's why I leave them.
Yeah.
Dude, it is literally like a graveyard in my pantry. I'm like, oh, I remember when I used to eat that. And
What do you think I had to throw out half my pantry?
Like, what if you eat it again? I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm not hyperfixating on it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm all done.
Did you see that one guy on TikTok? He said hyperfixating with food, and then it says the chicken parmesan. He's like, hey man, I'm making dinner. What do you want? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna get some chicken parmesan. And then it's literally like the next like 6 nights, he's like, chicken parmesan. And the guy asks again, he's like, hey, do you want some of the dinner that I made? And he's like, no. Or he said, oh, let me guess, you're gonna have chicken parmesan. And the guy goes, oh, please don't ever say that again. That is disgusting. I'm never gonna eat that ever again. And it's like a week later, he's like, hey man, what are you having for dinner? And then he goes, chicken parmesan. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so real.
You obsess over it, and then a little bit later, you're like, oh, I don't think I ever want to look at that ever again. That sounds so disgusting. Please don't ever say the name.
And it's like the moment it happens, right? Like I remember my most recent like dinner hyperfixation was mashed cauliflower with sliced up turkey kielbasa, that I would like roast, like cook in the air fryer, and then broccoli. And I would just put it all in like a big bowl and eat a bite of each. And I ate it for lunch and dinner for like 4 or 5 days. And I remember the last time I was eating it, it was after we filmed. And so I went home and made it, and it's like 10:30, right? I hurry up and make it in the kitchen, go up to bed, get down to bed with my big bowl, and I start eating it, and I'm like, I eat another bite, and I'm like, I eat a third bite, and I was like, no, I can't do it. No, I can't. I can't do it anymore because now it's gross. And Mom's like, oh, what's wrong with it? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, now it's bad. And he's like, it went bad. And I'm like, no, it's just no longer good. And he's like, I'm not sure that I understand your brain. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to. Do you want to eat it? And he's like, I do want to eat it. I said, fantastic, here. He's like, what will you have for dinner? I'm like, a large glass of ice water. I can't eat now. I ate something bad. I'm all done. He's like, okay. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it since. And I bought a whole family-sized turkey kielbasa.
Oh, no. Every time you look at it, you're like, ooh.
Literally, I'm like, please, don't mock me.
That's me with pepperoni every couple months.
Dude, you and your freaking bag of pepperoni. She puts that shit in her purse when she goes to the movies.
Oh my
She does.
Y'all remember when we bought corn dogs in the movies? I just whipped out a corn dog and then I had my ketchup.
When we saw one of the Spider-Man movies, Jordan's sitting next to me. He went and got like popcorn and a drink. And we're sitting there. He's like, you didn't get anything? And I was like, no, I got my stuff. He's like, oh. I opened my small purse. I brought my small purse. I don't know how I did it. I open up my small purse. I pull out an entire bag of Boom Chicka Pop popcorn. And then a bag of Russell Stover's chocolates. And he's like, respect.
Did I ever tell y'all? We're going to start the podcast soon. But my mom and her best friend, Brina? They would pretend that we were like probably, Dalen and I were probably like 3. And then Ryan, even all the way up until like Ryan and Bradley were like 3, maybe 4. And they would pretend that we were still like potty trained or like in diapers. And they would bring whole diaper bags to like claim that we had like diapers and wipes and stuff. And it was just full of snacks, full of popcorn. They would just bring to the movie.
Wait, that's so smart.
And they would just be like, yeah, they're still like, not that anybody cared or asked.
No.
But, like, they would pretend like we were still in diapers so that they could bring for the 5 kids that they were
but
bringing.
do you know how much stuff you could pack in a freaking diaper bag?
They did. They would just like,
Dude, my mom used to get out her big purse, and that was her movie-going purse.
Yeah.
And she would just switch her wallet in there, and then we'd go through Twisty Treat and get large ice creams, and she'd just set them down in her purse and put napkins in between so they wouldn't fall over, and then walk into the movies. And then we'd sit down, and she'd pull out the ice cream, and I was like, contraband.
I remember sneaking into the Cobb with stuff, and then I'm like, I went up to the guy because it was like an open drink, and I didn't want to put it in my purse and hide it. And I went up to the front desk. I was like, "Hey, man, like I have this drink, and I just don't want to throw it away yet. Like, can I just take it into the movie?" He looks at me and he goes, and it's like a manager. He goes, "You're allowed to bring food and drink in here." And I was like, "You are joking."
So you're
Do you know
telling
how
me
many times
I've had tacos in my purse for years for no reason? For no reason.
Oh my god.
The only reason I know you could bring food into the Cobb is because we used to call ahead to that Thai restaurant, and we would pre-order pad Thai and boba tea, and then we'd walk into the movie theater with a huge to-go bag of pad Thai and boba tea, and then sit in the movie theater with bowls of pad Thai.
That sounds amazing.
It was our favorite thing.
That does sound so good, actually.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Hey guys, did you know that we're filming?
Hi.
Hi, friends.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's a record.
We were just riffing. We're just riffing, just ad-libbing, you know. No big. Guys, welcome back to Bookish Bites. we're so glad you're here because we're here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, the symbiotic, you get it.
Yep.
It's the
Yeah.
relationship. We have cookies and cream brownies that my friend got me for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to eat them all. So now I'm sharing with my pals. Also, this week, you got some new people here. I'm 25 now. So,
Old lady.
yeah, I'm basically grown.
Welcome to our club.
25.
25? And I don't know who this girl is sitting on the end.
Who is she?
Where'd Alanis go? Guys, we're brand new this week.
Brand new.
You can't touch us. We're brand new.
Yeah.
So don't try, okay? We didn't read a book this week. We decided maybe that was like maybe reading a book
a
a week
lot.
along with our book club
Yeah.
books
Yeah.
and like our own personal books that we want to read was just like we've been doing it for months now and maybe it was kind of a lot.
There's so much going on up here.
maybe
all the time.
reading 3 books at a time always.
Yeah. It's a little
It's a little bit much for my brain.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I hadn't considered it.
No.
But maybe it's a bit much.
A little.
So we thought we would just take this week. We're going to chit chat,
Mm-hmm.
talk about some bookish stuff, and we're going to talk about some ACOTAR theories. Because we're all just sitting here waiting for
Yeah.
SJM to drop the next one.
Mm-hmm.
She gave us Crescent City 3. Thanks. Now
Yeah.
can you go back to the other series that you hadn't finished?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like a thought. It seems crazy.
Get it going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we could speed that tractor trailer on up just a little bit.
Where's the release date?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Where's
Because
listen,
Rebecca Yaros gave us hers.
because here's the thing, SJM could be like release date December 2025, and sure I might groan and moan a little, but at least you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Also, she has posted nothing for like months. And I'm like, where?
She dropped little tiny hints about like what the next book was
Yeah.
about.
She was
but-
like posting a lot of stuff on her story there for a while about like the spring court and things like that, and I'm like, great, perfect, awesome. It's gonna be springy and
we
Elaine-y.
talk
Can
about
you
how
give me
annoyed-
something else?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be if this is in Elaine's POV. I want to throw her sometimes, and sure, like I like Elaine from a distance.
You're me.
I like Elaine from a distance.
Yeah.
Why I don't care about what's in your
I
brain.
wouldn't mind
don't.
because not everybody's a fan of it, but I wouldn't mind a third person because I've been reading third person since I think Crescent City was in third person, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
And
get
then Throne of
that.
Glass that I'm reading right now is third person.
Mhm.
And it's kind of nice because like she writes it in a way where it's almost as if they're in their perspective.
Yeah.
But it's still third person. So I think I would like that.
And it
if
gives you
was,
the
like,
ability
about
to like
writing.
I
jump
know
around
Nesta
between
wasn't
people.
first person,
Yeah.
but still, like that was still very. It was very focused on her, and I
Right.
don't want this next book to be focused on Elaine.
Right.
And the thing is,
It's probably going to be because
feel like
Nesta
it's
got her
going to
book,
be.
so now
Right.
she was like, "It's only fair."
no, it's only fair to give us something else, please. Anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. Every time we dog on Elaine like this, I think about last Halloween when all we'd read was like the first 2 books. And we dressed up, me, Alanis, and my sister Lacey. We dressed up as the Archeron sisters. And I was like, I want to be Nesta. She's a bitch. I think it's fun. And so we were like, Lacey had only read the first book. And we were like, Lacey. We were like, Lacey, be Elaine. And
She's going
she's
like this off camera.
She's like, I don't even know who Elaine is. And we're like, no, she's sweet and cute. And she loves flowers. And like, she got this like cute light green dress and she put flowers in her hair. And
That's
Lacey
it.
looked super cute. Lacey looked adorable. but then we started reading the books and Lacey was like, you made me be this one? You made me dress as this bitch? This sister that's so annoying and whiny? That's crazy. And me and Alanis are just like,
Well,
What?
Somebody
somebody had to be the third sister.
Nesta and Farah were kind of taken.
Yeah,
So
we're just like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh.
I can't.
speaking of Elaine, can I talk about my first theory?
Absolutely, pop
Okay,
off, go.
so let me talk about. I've talked to you about this before.
Okay.
Not to offend all you Gwynreal shippers out there.
Oh yeah.
I respect you, but
I'm disrespecting you.
but I don't agree with you at all.
I'm disrespecting you.
I'm like
Avidly.
I'm hardcore Elaine and Azriel.
Oh, I'm
Till the
also
day I die.
disrespecting you.
Oh, okay, well that's fine. If they don't end up together, that's fine. But like, I really want them to be together because there's so much chemistry within the books with them together. There's so many little glances, so many little, like, it's so obvious. And I know some people might retort that like, because it's so obvious, it's not gonna happen. But it was really obvious with Feyre and Rhys, and it was really obvious with Nesta and Cassian. Like, immediately when Nesta and Cassian met, you knew like they're gonna be mates. Like, it was kind of obvious. So that's why I think Elaine and Azriel, don't laugh at me, should be together. They're just so cute. I love the pair. Yeah, it would be very convenient for like all three Bat Boys to be with all three sisters. Anyways, but I don't think that Gwen and Azriel is a thing.
No, I
because
don't think so either.
one, they had barely any interaction in Silver Flames. Two, everybody based their theory on that off of the like extra, like the little extra bonus like writing that she does,
Yeah.
where like there's a whole necklace situation. I haven't read it, but everybody based their like shipping of Gwen and Azriel on that, and I think that's not valid because if it's not part of the actual series, then I think it's invalid.
Yeah, I have
And
no
so
idea what
don't-
you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like a whole like bonus chapter or whatever where like Azriel gives Gwen this necklace or something, and I'm like,
I've
they
never even
barely
heard of that.
Me either.
they barely spoke in Silver Flames, and like it's like obvious that like Gwen kind of like looks at him a little bit longer, but also
Sure.
like he's Azriel, he's the most
He's-
attractive
I had
male
seen
in
something that was like the way that they interacted. It was like Gwen made his shadows either like they were quiet or they sang louder or something like
Yeah.
that. And then people were like, "Oh, that means like they are like a perfect match." But other people are like, "No, I think like she's the alternate of what he is. Like he's like the shadow singer and she is
Yeah.
like the
Light
light."
breather.
And they have
Yeah.
like, and I think because like she has the whole, because he was the one who came to save her, like he was
Right.
the first one to come. So I think because of that, she kind of has that like savior mentality of like
Absolutely.
she sees him as like.
I think Gwen needs to be
her-
a solo girl who's amazing and doesn't need a man.
Exactly.
Which is just like pretty likely considering her backstory.
Exactly.
I just wanted to put that out there. Like, Elaine and Azriel all the way, and that's all I have to say.
I don't agree with
Or me and
this.
Azriel, actually. I prefer
Yeah,
that.
no, that's
actually.
totally cool. I don't agree with this, but I saw a fan theory that was shipping Azriel and Eris.
I think
Shut
I've
up.
seen that.
Shut up.
That, wait.
I was like, wait. Azrius goes crazy.
Stop. Oh my god.
That's so
Crazy.
funny. And both their history with Moore.
No, literally.
No.
That's crazy.
Funny.
No, I don't know. I don't claim to know the mind of Sarah J. Maas.
No, yeah.
Hannah, stop.
Just putting that out there. But I need Lucian to find love.
No,
like I
yeah.
need oxygen in my lungs.
I do love Lucian, and I want the
That
best
poor
for
I want him to find somebody, but please not Elaine.
little bitty
Yeah.
baby.
Please.
Little bitty baby. I just need him to be happy.
him. I also need him to be happy.
See, my problem is, like, a lot of people say Elaine should be with Lucian because he is her mate, and it's just
but I don't
destined to be
necessarily
together.
need that.
Right.
And the thing is, I think that Lucian needs to find somebody who actually wants to be with him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy for Lucian
Yeah.
to have someone like who
Like,
actually
why are you
loves him?
why are you trying to push
To
two
give him
people
love he
who
deserves.
Don't
yeah.
love each other.
And-
Like, he's only saying it because of a mating bond,
Right.
Yeah.
and because other than that, he never once thought about this woman.
No.
And then now she's like, no, like absolutely not.
Mhm.
And anytime they have any sort of interaction, it's so awkward.
So awkward.
Yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable. Like I get
Yes.
secondhand embarrassment
Yes.
when I read it.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, why do you try to push people together who obviously do not want anything to do with each other? And I know he tries to make the point because he's like, oh, it's a mating bond. But I think he's just naive and he thinks that he has to work on. And I know it's like, it's harder for the men because like the mating bond affects them very differently.
Yeah.
Sure.
But also like that she is not giving you anything.
Mhm.
She is not.
You're
she's
getting
not
nothing.
putting any sort of effort into this.
Yeah.
She's not reciprocating any sort of your feelings. So I'm like, why do people want them together
Yeah,
if it's
and
just not going to happen?
And another reason I think that they aren't going to be together is just because at first I was like, oh, like that would be so sweet. But I think another reason they aren't is because why would Sarah add that whole section when Feyre was talking to Reese about like, do you have to accept the mating bond? Like, why would she add that little excerpt whenever Reese was like, no, they don't have to accept, but it is a lot harder for like the males. Why would she add that if that wasn't going to be significant later on? Also, the fact that finger guns. I was just thinking about it and then I lost it.
Well, I was going to say, you read Crescent City. I haven't, but I guess in Crescent City they talk about, like, 2 different kinds of mates.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, like, 2 different types of, like, bonds.
Yeah.
And so I've read a couple fan theories where people were saying, like, their mating bond or whatever could literally just be for, like, high reproductive standard, right? Like, it can just be like, oh, our genes would work well together. So, like, we feel this call to one another in a purely physical sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which opens up the door for opportunity that, like, there could be different mating bond. There could be a different mating bond for each of them with someone else that is, like, a, like, soul bond, you know? Which is, like, kind of what we see with Nesta and Cassian, right? Where, like, they had been together and they didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, Reese knew from the jump with Feyre, obviously. But, like, Nesta and Cassian, theirs developed.
Yeah.
And so I think there could be a development for Elaine and Lucien individually. Now, my little heart also needs Tam Tam to be happy. Or this is a drastic difference.
Okay.
I either need him to get better and be happy, or I need him to die.
Yeah, but in like a sacrificial way.
Absolutely. Like these are 2 very big, like,
way.
yes.
I agree.
Like, I think because, again, we hear from all of our Throne of Glass girlies that, like, Sarah is freaking murking people, right?
Yeah.
And we've lived through 4.5 books of ACOTAR with no sacrifice, with no cost for anything. Like, the worst we had was the Suriel.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. And so I feel like at some point she's gonna start just like pop, 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 knocking people off. Tamlin's death, I think, could be done in a way where he gets better, he's redeemed a little bit, and then it's a sacrificial death, and the, like, High Lord of the Spring Court title gets passed, and maybe that goes to Lucien. But then we also have to consider that Lucien is the only heir to the Day Court? Is it Day?
Yes.
Right.
That's
He's the only
Yeah.
heir to the Day Court.
Okay, but Helion,
Helion, yeah.
Helion.
Hellion.
Hellion.
And he is.
Calling from a Helion all day. That's why.
Helion is a hellion, though. That man walks in the room and he's like, you, and you. My bedroom.
I was cracking up to the video you sent me about the period.
Oh, that was so funny. I saw a thing on TikTok where it was like, if you like POV, you send each of these characters from ACOTAR. Hey, can you pick me up pads from the store? And their response, and it was like all of the Bat Boys. It was Helion. It was
that was so funny.
Was what size is your?
He said what size? He said what size? What size?
What size is your pussy?
And that's so real.
Yeah, they were all so.
Tamlin
so
said,
valid.
"Didn't I get you some last month?"
Yeah. Astro's was, I only have $2 on it. Reese's was like, oh yes, I was actually just about to ask you if you needed some. I noticed on the calendar that it was your time of the month.
I'll get you some, and I'll get you some chocolates.
And then Cassian's was, what is a pad? And then, oh my god.
And Nesta just was like, no. Yeah, I'll get some.
Yeah, Arden's was just no. And then, Elaine's and Pharaoh's were both like sweet, and then
Elaine's was like, "Oh no, baby. I mean, yes, but
Yeah.
how much do you need?"
Yes.
and then Pharaoh's was like, "Oh yes, absolutely. Do you need one with wings or without wings?"
Wings
And then
without
another-
Maxie, what, like...
And then I think Eris's was like, "Already got some for you," or something like that. I
God,
can't
those
remember.
were so funny.
I was cracking up, and I literally audibly, Roman looked at me like,
Yeah.
and I was scrolling through them, and they got funnier and funnier every time you kept going.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
Cassian said, "What's that?" Oh my God.
That's so one-coded.
Nessa,
Anyway.
Nessa said, "Get your own damn pads. I'm not your mother. What kind do you need?" Eris said, "I don't know. Can I?"
Oh, that's what he said.
That's right.
Oh, Reese said, "Are you going to ask me to buy you pads?"
Oh yeah.
She said, "How'd you know? According to my calendar, it's your first day today." Lucian's just said, "Open your door. I have pads."
That's who it was. Mm-hmm.
Baby. I love him.
Anyways, what were you saying?
Anyway.
Oh, hello.
Anyway.
Where are you going?
So Helion,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically for now, he's still alive. I don't know if that's gonna change, but I know that Lucian is his only heir, but what if something happens and he tries to reproduce again? Is he positive that Lucian's his? Does he know?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't
Does
positive.
he know?
Yeah.
Do they allude to that fact, or it's just Lucian that doesn't know, but it's
Yeah.
Helion who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because Helion was saying... Now you're making me second guess it.
Because I never saw anything like
Keep talking while I
because even
Google.
Reese didn't know until Feyre brought it up,
Right.
and
right.
then he was like, "Oh."
Because I was pretty sure he didn't know.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, I would assume that if he isn't aware that he has an heir, like, what would he
No,
do?
so Baron knows,
But
but
not
Helion
Helion.
doesn't.
okay,
okay.
that sounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why Baron hated him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
They think that Lucian
that guy.
knows.
What?
I feel like Lucian doesn't know.
Fan theories. They think that Lucian knows.
Oh. I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I don't think that he'd be as clueless.
They're saying there can't be any way that he had that he doesn't have any like day court related powers and not put two and two together is what people were saying.
Unless they just haven't manifested yet.
Well, they wouldn't have any use for it, really. I mean,
Right.
unless they were specifically looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's not like, I mean, he's going to think, oh, I'm from the Autumn Court, so let me try to use my Autumn Court
Obviously,
powers.
yeah.
Like,
right.
he's not going to be like, oh, you need that? Here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Feyre could teach him.
no, you don't think.
Yeah.
But like, would he try to reproduce if he knows that he doesn't have an heir?
Mm-hmm.
Because like they live for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. And he might. But
He
like
just messes around a lot.
right.
Yeah.
He would have to like find someone who he was actually willing to like raise his heir.
Knowing.
Lucy's mommy.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Well, we
save
so
her from
so
Eris.
if we kill Baron,
Yeah, that's first.
let
on the list.
Eris become High
Yeah.
Lord of Autumn,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then Lady-
Helion can marry Mommy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if Mommy needs to be married again. Mommy's trauma is
Just
deep.
let mommy be
Right.
with him.
Yeah, just let Mommy
I think
leave
Mommy wants to
Autumn.
be with him. Yeah.
Just
Mommy
get
just
her
needs to
out.
leave Autumn Court.
And she
Make
can
all
go.
the little babies. Like Lucian.
Little Helion baby.
Oh my god, they'd be so cute.
They would be so cute.
They will be
And
so cute.
she'd be like thriving, and she
She
would
would.
be such like a sweet and like gentle mom with them.
Dude, give her another opportunity.
Literally.
Give them girls.
Stop it. They'd be beautiful. Oh my god.
Little brown babies with their
Little
red
brown
hairs.
babies.
Oh, I love it.
They would be so cute.
I love that.
But like, so if we do that, if we can get Baron dead,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which like I feel like most of the sons are like down for,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
yeah.
Eris definitely is. But if we can do that, get Eris Autumn Court, get Mom to go be with Helion, then Lucian could take over Spring Court. Lucian knows Spring Court in and out. He
Yeah.
knows how things work. He knows what's up, and he could restore. But here's the thing: even if, like the fan theory that like Elaine is the one that takes over the Spring Court, we're not gonna get that in this next book. You know what I mean?
I can't see her like going to that length of like, oh, now I'm gonna be in charge of the
Like that feels like something that happens like 2 books down.
Right.
Her
Yeah.
like rebuilding Spring.
The only
Because
thing
Elaine
that I
has to
can think
figure
of-
out.
Right.
She still has to figure it herself.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I can think of with that is like, so say like, Lucian needs to go to day court. Like they figure out something
Mhm.
happens to Helion, and he needs to go over there. Reese is like, "Yo, you're the only heir. You got to go." And he's like, "What?"
Mhm.
Stark realization.
And then he goes. And then like something happens to Tamlin, and then so they think which sister is the only one that would be good in the Spring Court and also could actually handle it. Probably Elaine.
Mhm.
Because Nesta ain't gonna do nobody's business.
No.
No, that's not her.
Mm-mm.
But so they put Elaine in there. I feel like she would thrive in the Spring Court. I just
Obviously,
don't
yeah.
think that she would do well in a position of power.
Yeah, I don't think that she can be very diplomatic.
I think it would take books of
Yeah.
growth
Yeah.
for her to get to that point. I could see Lucian running the Spring Court. He knows everything
Yeah.
about it. But I need Lucian to like be happy and have someone.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be Vasa at one point,
Mhm.
but then I feel like was it Silver Flames or Frost and Starlight? One of them alluded to like maybe Jury and Vasa have
Yeah.
something going on.
I can't remember which one that was.
That's right.
know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which,
Yeah,
like,
because he came over. Wasn't it Frost and Starlight where he came over and he was
I think
chatting
so.
about
one of them, yeah.
Something.
It might have been Silver Flames.
maybe.
I can't remember.
A little tidbit that I remembered, back to really quick, the whole thing with Lucian and Elaine's mating not being a thing, is I remember Sarah in an interview, they asked, like, do you always plan whenever you, like, have a couple that you want to be together, does it always work out? Do you always plan exactly? And she's like, honestly, sometimes, like, whenever I plan for 2 people to be together, sometimes I start writing and they just have no chemistry. And so I have to, like, go with it and write differently. So I think she might have been alluding to the fact, like, of Elaine and Lucian, like, maybe she had the intention of them being mated.
And then as she
as
built
she
them.
started writing, she was like, there's no chemistry here.
Yeah.
I don't. And so she ended up writing it into where they aren't going to be together.
In this book, if what I need is if it is going to be about Elaine, which it most likely is, if it is going to be about her, I would like, you know how like with Nesta, she was very hard and tough on the outside, and then it was just like her growing into like a little bit of a softer person.
Yeah.
I would like to see Elaine become more of a harder person.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
she needs to grow a backbone.
Uh-huh.
She needs to be able to stand up for herself and stand up to other people.
And don't get me wrong,
because-
I'm not trying to like dog on like soft,
Right.
feminine
Right.
women. I love your femininity. I love your like softness and your heart and your care.
Right.
But Feyre has that.
Yeah.
Feyre has that.
Yeah.
And Feyre can be a badass when she
Yeah.
has
Right.
She has a good balance.
I need Elaine to like know how to
Yeah.
like stand up
Yeah.
for herself if necessary.
Yeah.
And she needs to realize that like not everything is like sunshine and rainbows.
No.
And I think we got a little glimpse of that in Silver Flames whenever she like kind of stood up to Nesta a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, but she had like enough of her.
Yeah, whenever she
Stuff.
was like talking about, I think it was Feyre's birthday, and she was like, "Hey, don't be mean,
Oh,
don't
she,
ruin
like,
this
yeah,
for Feyre."
yeah, that's right.
And then Nesta was like, "What are you talking about?" And then and it was kind of
when
she
Nesta
kinda
was
said-
like, "Fuck you,"
Yeah.
she's like,
and she started laughing. But I feel like that was like the start of her like
Yeah.
being a little bit more
Yeah.
sure of herself and like standing up. But that was also her sister, so I think that was easier.
Right.
"Yeah, it's different."
She's still a seer, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see some more of that.
Yeah.
I'd like you to see something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
See something, baby. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I have so many things going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me thinks Elaine needs to just like be by herself for a minute. I don't
Yeah.
need this book to be
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Elaine's
she's been
love
pining
story.
over
Yeah.
little boys for.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I didn't mean literal. Little boys are just.
But I mean like punk ass
like she's
boys.
been, yeah.
And the thing with Grayson was pretty traumatizing, so I
Yeah.
feel like
Absolutely.
she needs a little
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah. So like I think this book doesn't have to be a love story. Don't get me
Do you
wrong.
think that she'll be?
Okay, so I had this thought.
Wait, continue.
I had the thought. What if Elaine is just
What if
just a little
just
I don't know.
uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
Or maybe both.
Or maybe both. And then the wealth of opportunities that provides.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We because here's the thing, this kind of like contradicts some of my other theories, which is like Moore is a bad guy,
Right.
Yeah. Well,
maybe,
Emery.
but maybe Elaine is Moore's redemption arc,
Maybe.
right? And then, again, this is like not book one, not Elaine book
We haven't
one,
even gotten a bad part from Moore.
but that's
yet,
what I'm saying. So
She
this
could
couldn't
also-
be like book one
She
of
could also
Elaine,
just be very morally gray. Like, not
Yes.
not bad, not like Eris.
right?
Yeah.
Or we have Emery.
We have
Now
Emery,
the only
and she's a bad
problem,
girl.
my only
Yeah.
problem with Emery is that Emery is like one of Nesta's like people, and I feel like it would be like a weird
Yeah.
thing with Nesta. You know what I mean? Where like Nesta
Yeah.
kind of like got to build these
Yeah.
people that were like her people by choice and not by
Right.
obligation.
Doesn't she also like have a thing for somebody in Silver Flames?
More.
Was it more? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was like, oh, she used to come to town all the time. She's so sexy. We haven't seen her in a while. You know,
Yeah.
she had
Yeah.
like her little moment about more. I don't know. I feel like
See-
I could fuck with Elaine being.
See, I was thinking that, but I was also thinking, what if she's with like Jurian or
Okay.
something? Because she has a thing for
Oh.
humans.
She super duper
Right.
does.
Because she's not a fan of the Fae.
She's
Yeah.
not. Which she's gonna have to get over.
Yeah.
You
Um,
are one.
Yeah,
Let's
bun.
work on that, babes.
kind of can't reverse that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that's tough.
Yeah.
I also know that Sarah wrote a threesome scene for Silver Flames that
That's
she
right.
cut.
That's right. Yep.
If we make Elaine a little, that opens Sarah's window
Oh.
Sarah.
to just.
Are you
I'm
taking
just
notes?
listen.
Uh-huh.
I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know, but it opens the door
Yeah.
for the possibilities.
For the possibility.
You get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of Elaine being a little gay.
Mm-hmm.
I do love it a little.
Yeah.
But then, let's talk about Moore for a second.
Yeah.
I could talk about Moore till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Because I can't figure it out. I can't figure out what's up. I can't figure out why.
I never really thought about it that way until you had brought it up and like
Yeah.
gave some examples, and I was like, wait, like you're
Uh-huh.
right.
I've seen a lot of stuff lately, theories about how, so it kind of like ties in together. One, that Azriel was never really obsessed with her, as in like in love with her, but that Azriel could sense something about her that was off because he's a shadow singer, and sense that she was hiding this big truth from like the whole thing with her and Eris.
And you can tell when people are lying, can't
yeah.
you?
And so it wasn't necessarily that he was in love with her. It's that he felt like he needed
To protect
have like
everybody else.
tabs on her
Right.
and what she's doing and where she's going.
And to tie into that, she's supposed to be like the truth teller, or she's supposed to be what's her title?
Yeah. Truth teller, something like that.
I know truth
That's
teller is
the
the knife. Yeah.
But
But she's supposed to be
The Morrigan.
The Morrigan is like the truth. Like what is it?
I don't know. Like it's like she can't lie.
She can't.
Like,
Yeah, something about that. But then somebody theorized that like, what if it's not that she can't lie, but that she can twist the truth, or like, or make it to where somebody can't tell the truth. So like maybe
Yes.
maybe
She
Yeah.
controls like
yeah.
truths.
So
like,
maybe
Yeah.
like Azriel and Eris know the truth, but they haven't spoken about it because she's keeping them from telling the truth.
and like that would be
Cassian's
why
a
Eris
watchmaker,
just
yeah.
keeps being like, talk to more.
Yeah,
Talk
and that's
to
why
more.
Azriel was so weird, and that's why it explains why he went through years of like not doing anything about it, even though Cassian would push him, and I think maybe even Reese like would push him to like, hey, go talk to her, like go do something
What
about
is
it. But he never
stopping
did.
Eris from saying anything? I really, really want to know.
Maybe
So then-
like her ability.
It makes me think of back to Wings and Ruin when they're having the meeting of the High Lords. Eris shows up. Eris starts talking shit, and he's like, "Oh, and you're dressed like a whore. Very clever, Eris. Wow,
Wow,
that was a good one." But it sent Azriel off.
that's true.
It set him off, and so then he had Eris on the ground, and that was when Feyre was like, "Come," and he was like, "Yes, mommy," and he stopped.
yeah.
Obviously,
Oh, I ate that part up. Oh,
it's incredible.
I grew like a dog.
Oh, absolutely. I was like walking like a dog. Walking like a dog. But
That's true.
there could be like other meaning, right? Like it could be like don't piss her off, or I know, like, it could be anything, right? Like,
or maybe
it could
he
be
still
like,
does like care for her and love her as like a person, but like
Right.
not like in love with her.
it could be like, hey, you also know what really went down. Why are you doing this right now? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it could manifest itself in different ways.
Yeah.
It's weird too, because like anytime you have a scene with her and she's like meeting people or like talking to people, it's like they have this instant like respect for her. Obviously, other than, the the place,
The Autumn Court.
Yeah.
Or the Court of Nightmares.
Court of Nightmares, yeah. But like anywhere else she goes, people are like, oh, the Morgan, and I'm like, what did she do?
Yeah.
What did she do for you to give her this title?
Also, the fact that Reese, like, they talked about, I don't know who asked about it, but they were like, he said something about, like, I won't use more, she used my last resort of, like, her power or whatever. But I think
Right.
Feyre asked or something like, what's her power? What does she do? And Reese was like, she's my absolute
Because
last.
she's the only one in the inner circle that we haven't seen like actively
like, we've
use
seen her,
there.
We've seen her battle, but not, like, actively
But not, like,
use
use her powers.
Yeah.
Because all she did was go get the orb from the Court of Nightmares.
Yeah.
Which, I guess, like, what was it? It was, like, coupled with her power would, like, show them the truth of something.
Oh,
But it was just,
yes.
like, it was just the orb. It wasn't, like, her own power or, like, persuasion or anything. And, like,
Right.
when she told the queens, like, this is the truth, this is what we're doing, they were like, we don't believe you. And they were like, but that's her power. And they were like, how do we know?
Right.
And so I'm like, then what is the point of this power if you
Yeah.
can't prove that what
Yeah.
you're saying is
Then
truth?
that would kind
Like,
of
I could
prove-
walk up to anyone and be like, yeah, no, I can't lie.
Yeah.
So you just have to believe everything I say because
Right.
I told you I can't lie?
that would kind of prove her power of doing the opposite, of making, of like keeping the truth.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying, like she hasn't used her power yet. So, like, how powerful is she? What is
Right.
her power? Like, if it's
Because obviously that wasn't it. Her
Yeah.
just speaking
and
isn't.
Reese knows what her power is apparently. So, like, the fact that it's the last resort because it's so crazy.
I also,
What is
like,
it?
I still have questions about Silver Flames because whenever Nesta was mad at Cassian, right? After they found out they're mates, and she was like, and she was angry, and she left, and she was like, Moore, I need you to take me to Emery's, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so Moore was like, sure thing. Took her to Emery's, right? But then Gwen showed up there.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, Moore came for me and said you would need me. And so she brought
And
me.
then that's when they got taken, right?
And then that's when they got taken. So why did you just go get Gwen?
Yeah.
You haven't been here this whole book. Why did you just go get Gwen?
How did you even know to do that?
Right. And now I know that the old queen, the golden queen, that's not the old queen, right?
Yeah.
She had Emery's cousin, like, under her spell or whatever. But, like, how did she know that they were now there to alert them to go get them? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, how did
the men know to go get the
Right.
girls?
So, like, how did the Golden Queen know
Right.
that, like, okay, all three girls are here now? Let me tell
I
the
thought
cousin.
she said she could
I
see
think
to
it
them.
go
was.
get
I
them.
think because I remember it was all part of a big plan that the queen had, like the old queen, the one that was like
Yeah,
affected by the cold and whatever. Because I remember
the one
everything.
that had the crown.
Yeah, like it was all a plan. Like she had already planned to put them in the blood right. But I'm trying
But
to
what
figure
was her
out.
plan to get them there? Had Nesta not been like, take me to Emery, and then Moore gone and gotten Gwen?
Yeah. Unless they would have, because they would have not been all in the same place at once. So they would have had to get her.
They would have had to have gone into Valeris and get.
Yeah. So like,
Gwen and
what if
Nesta.
Moore was part of that?
It just seems suspicious.
It does seem suspicious. And the fact that she went to go get, she was like, oh, let me go get Gwen. Because they didn't
Because
plan
then
for that.
after that, the only other time we see Moore is when Nyx is being born. Wasn't Moore there?
Yeah, she held.
Yes.
She was the first one to hold Nyx.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like she's like Eris in the sense that like she's not completely like all bad, but she's not all good. Like she's got some
She's
kind
hiding
of
some stuff.
definitely. Because like Reese, obviously it's Reese's cousin. Like they have this attachment, and it's clear that like Moore does care for them a lot.
Absolutely, but like,
But why are you keeping all this? And like her weird secret house.
yeah, that
And-
we get like this much
Yeah.
of in Frost and Starlight, and then never to be spoken of again.
Also, what's she doing? Like I know she's the what's it called?
Not the emissary,
Not
but
the emissary,
like
but
she
she's
was
like
like,
she's trying to convince people to like sign the treaty or whatever.
right.
We got
But she did nothing.
none of that. And like I understand there's only so many like POVs you can have in the book of like different scenarios, but why did we not get anything? Like
But
what's
all
she
she
doing
accomplished in Silver Flames was teaching Cassian and Nesta how to dance.
over there? Another thing, because Sarah likes to drop hints, her last Instagram post was like when she was like doing some riding up in the mountains and it was snowy. And it was she had a hashtag that was like, Echo, what? People were like, ooh, is there going to be something in the spring court? What if, because her little house was like in snow, right? Like it was winter and it was snowy. So like, what if that's kind of alluding to the fact that we might get more about Morgan and her like little secret place?
Because here's the thing. Just literally from a writer's standpoint, you have to give us more about Morgan at this
Yeah.
point. You can't drop that in Frost and Starlight, give us nothing in Silver Flames, and then drop another book with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to quit caring. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's going to seem not important enough.
Because we've gotten
Right.
more from smaller characters, like Jurian. We've got
Yeah.
more from
I know
him.
more about Vasa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And what's their face on the island?
Yeah. Miriam and Draken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan was a day one. She was a homie from the beginning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's something there.
And there's also like what 50 years worth of time that like Reese was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they were all just in
Valeris?
what's the name of it, Valeris.
I'm wearing Azriel.
Oh, okay. I looked at your shirt and I was like, it doesn't say the name of it. What is it? But like, Reese doesn't know what happened
Yeah.
in those 50 years that he was gone
Mm-hmm.
under the mountain. Like, I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
and everybody down there hates her, don't they?
They're all just like fearful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like unsure, you know?
They're,
I
like,
don't know.
rude to her,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but like not in like a condescending way, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it gives me
It's
pause.
like
Yeah.
a mask. Like she wants them to look like they hate her, or something.
Yeah.
You know.
I have a brownie.
Have a bound.
I'm gonna look away while you eat it.
Okay.
She's reading Butcher and Blackbird.
Come on.
Yeah.
Good job. You got it. Good
It might be a
job.
little messy.
Yeah. We can just brush it on the ground and then Jacob can vacuum. No
Okay.
worries.
He said we need a vacuum anyway. So
There you go.
perfect.
Hey,
That-
you're covered.
It's been
really
more than
good.
a day, so you know.
So Jacob
naturally.
has to vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. I just. Also, what's it going to be called? Because if it's about Elaine, right? Like we're a court of
We already had thorns and roses.
Right.
Yeah.
like Thorns and Roses was clearly
Peonies.
spring.
A court
Peonies
of-
is hilarious.
A quart of titties and tulips.
A quart of pussies and peonies. I didn't want to say it.
Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. A quart of
Now I can't think of anything.
Oh.
I don't know, she's so whiny. I just want to be like a quart of bitches and babies. I don't know.
I have a feeling Elaine's gonna be popping them out.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can see that.
Mhm. Which
Oh, that was
also-
another fan theory because she didn't get her pelvis done the thingy thing, then she wouldn't be with an Illyrian.
But also, like, they can change that. I feel like they could change that. Sarah does a
They
whole
made
lot.
it such a big deal in the last
They
book
made it real-
that they couldn't change it.
They only made it such a big deal because they had a bargain for their lives.
True.
Yeah, but like it was so huge that like she can't give birth to an Illyrian baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nesta was like, change mine too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
True.
Calm down, guys. Everything's
Yeah.
fine.
We talked about this last time, but what is the like? I thought they both had to be Illyrian.
So I think it's because Reese is only half Illyrian,
Right.
but Cassian is full Illyrian, so it would still be.
And the only reason the baby ended up being Illyrian is because Pharaoh was in her Illyrian form. So, like, had Reese not been in his form, had she not been in form, it would have been non-Illyrian baby. But
Reese is always in form because Reese is always Illyrian.
right.
Yep.
Oh, so did they say it was like a half and half chance?
Right.
And then he was full blown because Pharaoh was in
Right.
her wings. Yeah.
So basically, with Nesta and Cassian, they have a 50% chance of their kid being Illyrian.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
Correct.
I just want Azrael to have little shadow babies.
Yeah.
That would just be
Little
so
baby
cute.
shadows. They really would
Little
be so
hiding
cute.
in the shadows.
Oh my god, you can never find them little things.
But
You need to
also,
find somebody who can like change their reproductive systems. That's all.
yeah, or like maybe like perform
A C-section?
but like
Oh,
God.
well,
Yeah.
But
yeah. Yeah.
well,
right?
Yeah.
Figure out a way for them to not bleed out.
They
because clearly that one wasn't for
a Bryce. Crescent City.
Sure.
They could teach them because they're modern day.
Yeah.
Right. Because they, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thingy, when you were talking about the mates, this does not spoil anything, but whenever you're talking about the mates, like in Crescent City, they can basically like choose to be mates. Kind of like how you're like, hey, let's get married. Kind of like the same, like, hey, let's be mates. So it's not necessarily like by the cauldron that they are mates, but
Okay.
like you can choose.
Not like maid mates. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can like choose to be mates. So like maybe they'll introduce that where like if Elaine does end up being with somebody, she can choose to be mates with somebody, or like their love is so great that it goes beyond.
I'm telling
Mating
you,
bond.
I wonder if she's just gonna end up with Jurian.
Yeah.
Jurian got a redemption arc. He's gonna
He
be with
did.
somebody.
But what is Jurian? Because Jurian's just back to normal human now, though, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he's just gonna age and die.
Well, yeah. But
So
she
that's not
likes
a
that, I guess.
long-term thing for Elaine. You know what I mean? That's like you got 50 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe she'll put him in a ring again.
Honestly,
Just put him back in the ring.
might as well.
She goes Amaranth on us.
Might as
Yeah.
well.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
Elaine's villain arc.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd
Honestly?
love to see that.
Wait.
Elaine's villain arc.
We thought Nesta would be the villain, but here's Elaine.
It's Elaine, but it's just all been
It's
in
an
her head.
SJM plot twist, bro.
Yeah. Elaine's actually psycho.
Dude.
Yeah.
we get
Honestly?
teleported back to when she's in the
Uh-huh.
in the
Dude.
first book.
Oh my
Or
god.
second book.
That'd be so good,
It's
actually.
been Elaine. the
I will
whole
say
time.
Third book.
Sarah did talk about,
God.
which Sarah says this about all the women that she writes, but she said she has like a very soft spot for Elaine.
Mm.
So I don't know what that means,
Harden up.
but
Maybe because she's soft.
Maybe
maybe
because
because
she's a
she's
bitch.
soft.
Toughen up. I don't know.
Shut up.
Feel harder
This
about
world
her.
is not going to soften up for you. I'm sorry.
No, especially
Prithian?
Prithian.
That's what I mean.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Maybe we should throw. Maybe we should recreate Under the Mountain and throw Elaine in there just to get her
right.
get her a Midgard worm or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Toughen her up a
something to
bit.
toughen her up.
Yeah. I want to put Bryce Quinlan and Elaine in a room and see what happens.
Yeah. I'd love that.
I think that'd be really funny. Just see what happens.
Listen, you have to read Crescent
You
City.
do have to read Crescent City.
I don't.
It's a done series.
I don't think so.
I thought it was just a trilogy.
No.
She ends it nicely, but I'm pretty sure I heard that there's another one that is not
Yeah.
done.
Well, I'm a liar then.
Blech.
But it's still good.
It's very good.
First book is like,
Guys, Throne of Glass is
But-
really good.
We should read.
I don't know if I don't know if I like it more than I don't like it more than ACOTAR yet. I don't think I will just because I'm an ACOTAR girly girl through and through. But I know a lot of people love it more than ACOTAR. But so far, I'm still loving it. But I'm also only on
it's
book
just
3.
daunting.
It
That's
is
my
daunting.
problem. Is it's just daunting.
There's just so much, and she writes so differently
Yeah.
than
It's
ACOTAR.
so different.
I will say it gets better in book 2 and 3. but then like the first.
What's
But
the third one?
it is Heir of Fire,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah.
I'm still like 1% through the whole
No,
series.
same. I'm 1% through the first book.
I bought the
I'm
whole
on like
thing
chapter 3,
Yeah.
and I was like,
I think I'm on chapter 6, but I've reread it maybe 6 times now because that's as far as I get every time.
Yeah.
Every
It does
time.
get better though.
I think
Just
I
with any
stopped
book.
when he brought her into the throne room with the prince.
Ah.
It's like,
You didn't even meet Dorian yet.
it's like chapter 2. I don't know.
It gets so much. I started reading book 3, and I've been introduced to like 4 new characters within like the first 7
I
chapters.
barely know the
Dang.
first 2.
They're so good though.
Kale.
Kale.
First of all, what kind of name is that?
Yeah.
Dude,
Kale.
Sarah needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, we have such more normal names
Uh-huh.
in ACOTAR and Crescent City.
Yeah.
I mean, Hunt.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like
Hunt
Bryce.
Athalar.
That's a pretty normal
Bryce
name.
Quinlan. Sure, yeah. Rune. Okay, I can get behind that.
Uh-huh.
Kale? Kale?
And then she can't even spell Selena normally. She's got to make it
Selena?
Come
Selena.
on. We're trying so hard.
Dorian?
You know what's
Don't even
really
get me started.
funny? You know what's really funny? This isn't a spoiler, but
First
in
name.
I can't remember. I think it's book 2. She talks about there's a rune mountain, but it's spelled with just one more N. And then there's a Danon place. It was a
What?
place, or maybe it's another mountain, but it's Danon something.
They're repeated.
So it was like
It's a
Rune
name.
Danon.
Yeah, oh my god.
So I was like, that's so funny.
Wow, clever.
Clever.
Mm. She said, you know what? I like that. Put it together.
That'll work.
I feel like there were other things that I wanted to talk about with ACOTAR.
There was something I wanted to
series,
say
but I can't
earlier,
remember.
and now I'm just blanking on what it was. I want to say it was a more theory. Ow. But I can't remember.
There's a lot of Tamlin theories out there.
I don't want to talk about Tamlin.
Perfect. Let's talk about Tamlin.
Let's not.
I love this. Is such a like.
Okay.
You love Tamlin. You hate Tamlin. I'm very in between.
Okay.
They're part.
Pick
they're
a
part
side.
of him.
Pick
No,
a side.
I like.
Tamlin.
I want him to have a
is-
redemption arc, but I'm not like.
I don't want him. No.
But I'm not like. In love with him. Like he did. bad
I'm
stuff.
done with him. We spent
But-
way too much time on Tamlin. Tamlin has had way too much time on paper.
Tamlin had one book.
He had one
He had
whole
one book.
book, and
had
he
one-
still had so
he had
many
one book.
scenes
He had one
in
book.
every book we've read.
He had one book.
Every single book,
He had
Hannah.
one book.
And he still had a book.
And he's broken and he's shattered and he needs
And he
to be
still
redeemed.
had a book.
He's broken and he's shattered and he needs to be redeemed.
No,
I do feel. I
he
do
does
feel
not
bad
need
for
to be
him.
redeemed.
It was that part.
I
Sarah-
hope one day you make a mistake, so that I can redeem you, and you can see that people are worth redeeming.
Okay, but I don't make Tamlin mistakes. Okay.
Sarah sent me a TikTok. She probably sent it to you too, where it was like,
I don't watch Sarah's
It was-
TikToks. What's up?
no, Sarah Shannon.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh, you don't watch
What's
her
up?
TikTok? She sent me a TikTok where it was like, this is the moment that I forgave him, and it was whenever Tamlin said, "Be happy, Feyre," and like gave the little drop to
She did
Reese,
send me
and I was
that.
like, me. I was like, no, me, because like whenever I read that, I was like, because I thought he was gonna do the opposite. I thought he was gonna withhold it and be bitter about it, but then he was
Right.
just like, "Be happy," and I was like,
Yeah, no, that was.
and then
a
also the
slay.
part whenever Reese goes to visit him, and he's like,
I can't.
he's got like the
can't.
carcass of an animal across his
Yes.
table, and he's just sitting there, and then he's just like, "Do you think she'll ever forgive me?" And Reese is like, "I don't know, man." But I was like, the fact that he is like at that point to where he knows, like he's at the point now where like he knows he did wrong,
And
but he doesn't know how to fix it.
here's my thing: is I think that you take everything from anyone, and they're gonna kind of have a breaking point, right?
Yeah.
Like you can pick the worst person alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer. That's a universally hated person.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be PC here. Jeffrey Dahmer, if you would have stripped him of everything he had, everything he loved, took away his ability to do anything, the man might have had regrets.
Right.
Now, do I think Jeffrey Dahmer deserved to be redeemed? Probably not, right? But my thing with Tamlin is that I've thought through and like reread the things that he did and the decisions that he made. And I stand by the fact that I think he was literally just looking one step ahead and choosing heads or tails, right? Like, he was just choosing, like, what's the best of these two options.
Mm-hmm.
Because every choice that he made considering Feyre was obsessive, controlling, more words that I can't think
Selfish.
of. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like possessive.
Right, yeah.
Which is a no-no. We don't love that.
Yeah.
Hard pass. She needed to get the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% still stand by that.
Yeah.
But I think that Tamlin hadn't loved anything like this before. And I think Tamlin hadn't had any sort of example of what that should look like. And Tamlin was kind of just left to his own devices to try and run this spring court, given this ultimatum by Amarantha. And then somehow his little human girl saved them. They got out. And he's like, now all I can do is protect her.
Mm-hmm.
She's saved all of Prithian, essentially.
Yeah.
And all I know to do is to not let anyone hurt her. And he's got the King of Hybern in his ear. He's got these people on his property, right? Like, these people, they're still worrying about the wall at this point. He's got to go out to the borders, check the borders all the time. And his brain can't do 60 things at a time.
Right.
And so all he can think is, Feyre, just stay here. Just stop. Be one less thing I have to worry about. I'm begging you. Do I think that's the right call? No, absolutely not. But I feel like that's why I think Tamlin deserves this redemption, is because Tamlin was just like, and Tamlin's also younger than everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know by how much, but like, he didn't fight in the last war like Rhys and all of them did. And so I think Tamlin is just kind of like, for lack of better terms, like, he's ignorant. He didn't have a clue. He was literally going one step at a time and making what he thought was the best choice, however ill-advised and wrong he was. And then why wouldn't he think, with the way Rhys acts and the front that Rhys put on for so long, why wouldn't he think that Feyre was unsafe there?
Yeah.
So, like, why wouldn't he risk going to the King of Hybern to get her back? You know?
Yeah.
Because that was this huge, crazy, worst possible outcome of Mist and Fury. But, like, why wouldn't he?
It's easy to see, like, his perspective. 'Cause
Right.
even, like, reading the first book, I could very well see, like, why he did the things that he did, until we started to get a little bit more of Rhys and his story, and then when we went to Akamath, and then, like, when he locked her up, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
On one side of my brain, I was like, I understand why you did that. I get it. You lost her once. You don't want to lose her again. That must be awful to witness her die. And then, like, magically, like, she's brought back to life. But, like, I understand, like, the craving to protect her at all costs. However, like, there is a line, and you
Absolutely.
just crossed it. But I do understand,
He
like,
decimated the line.
yeah.
But the thing is, he's had multiple opportunities to redeem himself, and he still continues to fumble the bag. Since the beginning, you think about, he goes to Hybern, he sides with Hybern, he sides with a bad guy just to get a girl back.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not thinking about his court, he's not thinking about anybody else, he's literally just thinking about this girl. And then you have Rhys this entire time that this curse is happening, and he's pretending to side with the bad guys, but he's actually a good guy trying to take out the bad guys. And then, like, why are they so drastically different as people?
See, I think we're
these
not
decisions?
considering that maybe, like, Tamlin's just a little dumb, right? Because, yeah, Rhys is playing, like, double sides, right? Like, he's acting like he's with the bad, but he's smart enough to be trying to work on the good underneath it, right? And Tamlin, like I said, is literally just, like, looking at what's in front of him and making the choice. Because, honest to God, exact same scenario as Mist and Fury, where, right? Yeah, Mist and Fury, where Tamlin goes to Hybern and is like, get her back. I'll do anything. Screw the cost, right? Get her back. If Rhys would have done the same thing, obviously we know Rhys and we know he wouldn't, but had he done the same thing, we'd be like, yeah, it's because he loves her to death, and that's the love of his life. And he'd sacrifice absolutely everything for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, do I think the ends justify the means? No, but that's because he's stupid.
I think it comes down to like all of the little things. So like, for example, like a lot of the like little things that Tamlin's done that are bad, like make him worse. So like the whole her having nightmares and him doing nothing about it. The whole him under the mountain the whole time, the way that he just stood there and watched it all happen, like major red flag. Also like him hardly being with her, like after all of this, is all the trauma she went through, everything, like him hardly being, like understandably he's got a lot of other duties, but she's not at the forefront of his mind in the sense that like taking care of her, spending time with her, making sure she's okay, talking to her about stuff, talking to her about the nightmares, like the fact that he just slept like all like through her nightmares. Where on the other side, like Rhys is really good at all the little things. So like Rhys, whenever she like asks, "Have you eaten today?
Yes.
Let me buy you a meal." Going to her like when she has nightmares, like making sure she can read, for God's sake, and then also like training her. Where Tamlin was like shut down, you cannot train.
I feel like Tamlin had like ADHD brain or something.
But like, for
where
how
he's
long
like,
can you accept that though?
Well, my point was going to be, I think that for Tamlin, it was like, okay, we're out of under the mountain. I have Feyre here. I have so many other things to handle. Just stay here. Let me get the rest of this crap figured out, and then I'll get to you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that was his mentality. Was like, just stay here and be fine while I handle these other things, and I'll get to you eventually.
Yeah.
Which obviously is not how things work, not how relationships are balanced. But I feel like that's kind of where Tamlin was coming from. And do I think he deserves Feyre? Obviously not. She's where she needs to be.
Yeah.
But after we get through Mist and Fury, she ends up back with him. Wings and Ruin is when she pulls the old switcheroo on him, right? And she leaves, finally gets back to where she belongs. And in the process, like, just makes him look the fool, right? And so now nobody in his court trusts him, believes him, and his court is completely fallen apart and is in ruins. And Tamlin's sitting there, like, tracing back his steps, like, where did I first go wrong? Where, like, give me part one of where I messed up. Because at this point, I mean, it would take an act of the cauldron for Tamlin to get this court back under control. Like, that's just not, like, I mean, he could try and rebuild, but you're gonna have to convince the word for their soldiers that I'll never remember, sentries? Sentries. You'd have to convince people to come be sentries for him. You'd have to convince his people to believe him again. You'd have to convince his people to follow him again. Like, you can't rebuild from nothing, right? Like, you've just torn everything down. And so, I don't know what a Tamlin redemption looks like, really.
And he never even wanted to rule. Like, he never wanted to be the High Lord of Prythian.
I feel like a Tamlin redemption can only come in the form of him. I don't know if he can resign. Like, pass the torch, or if like resignation only comes with death. Or if I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know if it comes with him. Just spitballing here. If it comes with him marrying Elaine, making Elaine High Lady of Spring Court, her getting things back in order, then Tamlin dies, then Elaine's able to like explore like a love match.
See, but Tamlin doesn't believe in a High Lady.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the only way I see Spring Court getting its shit together while Tamlin's still alive. Because, like, you would have to really go around and convince people to trust him again.
Yeah.
Like, that's gone. And so I'm really not sure what I want his redemption to look like. Because I don't necessarily need his redemption to be in the form of him, like, finding a wife. Like, I think his redemption could just be him figuring himself out. But, like, he's been in beast form for the last 2 books, right? For Frost and Starlight. Like, the end of Frost and Starlight, and then all of Silver Flames. He's only been in his beast form. And so I'm like, I feel like he would only listen to Lucian or Feyre at this point anyway. I don't know.
I don't know. He's been listening to Reese.
That's true.
A little bit. And who was... Eris was with him whenever they met with him the last time, wasn't he?
I think so.
I don't know. I just... Maybe it's not necessarily that I need a Tamlin redemption, but I need, like, a Tamlin POV.
Right.
You know what I mean?
See
Maybe
how he's
just
going
put him
with
out
it.
of his misery.
But I need a Tamlin POV before we put him out of his misery.
Like, see what's
I
going on in
need
his
to
head.
know what's going on in his brain.
Yeah. That's me with Elaine. Like, I want to know what's going on in her brain.
I don't care enough.
I just have so many feelings about Tamlin that I just don't want to see him in the book anymore. I'm done with it. Only because of all the things that he's done, all the things that Feyre has tried to explain to him and tried to talk to him about, and even after he saw all blown up in front of his face, he continued to still go down the path. Like, she's over and over and over and over again trying to explain to him, trying to show him.
It's like beating a dead horse.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking to a brick wall. Like, he's not intaking the information. And, like, the fact that you're going to completely, like, okay, this woman that you love loves where she came from, her home in the human world, right? And you're going to side with the King of Hybern, who wants to destroy the world that she came from and loves. How do you think that's going to make her love you more? And, like, that is, like, the 20th thing he's done in this entire, like, and that was up to that point. And, like, after that, he continues to do the wrong things.
Yeah.
He shows up to the court where all of the High Lords are there at the meeting and starts just saying awful, nasty things about Feyre in front of everybody. And then is like, well, you know what? I'm going to go help Hybern.
Yeah.
What?
I do think, like, if he does have a redemption arc or he comes back for something or whatever, I hope it's not, like, anything to do with Feyre. I think that, like, Feyre has finally, like, put that wall between them of, like, I'm
Feyre's
over
a
it.
mother.
Yeah,
Feyre's
I'm over
it.
it. I'm High Lady of the Night Court. Like, I need to get that. Like, she needs to finally, that chapter has ended. So I'm hoping that, like, he's not brought back into her life specifically. And even Reese, like, it's a lot for her knowing Reese is going, like, either, like, even just talking to him.
I think there could be, if we get a Tamlin redemption, right, and all he wants to know is, like, will Feyre ever forgive me? First of all, she doesn't know you that. She doesn't know you that. But I think if that is something that she chooses to give him, it can be done in the form of a letter. I think one day when he's feeling a little better, and maybe he's, like, done a little better for himself, and he's tried to prove himself a little better, he gets a letter in the mail. And it's Feyre being like, hey, no hard feelings, brother. Signed, High Lady of the Night Court. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could be something like that to just kind of give him, like, some sense of, like, okay. Because you're not entitled to her forgiveness. You're not entitled to FaceTime with her. You're not entitled to her at all. She is literally a mother and a High Lady of her own court. Sorry, buddy. You fumbled.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if it would probably be more likely that Elaine is just going to take over her or Lucian, just because
it can't be him.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, like, the more you look into it and the more that he's just proven himself and dug himself a deeper hole, every single time something has happened, he has sided with the wrong people and he's always made the wrong decisions. And so, like, now at this point they're like, how do we trust you?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
for the good of Prithian, how do we trust you to make sure that this court is on our side? Like, and also, it's a super important court because it's right there with
on the border. Yep.
And who better to take care of that than Elaine, who knows humans very well.
And the fact that that court is currently sentryless, right?
Yes.
And has
Yeah.
no protection and has nothing going
Yeah.
for it. And so it's falling on Autumn Court, which sucks. We hate Baron.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's the next up.
Yeah.
And so now it's, like, falling to Baron to, like, protect this.
Yeah.
We don't want Baron to be doing this either.
Mm-hmm.
So something has got to give with the Spring Court to get protection back up. Because,
Yeah.
like,
Do you think they'll keep the courts separate?
I know
Or do
that
you
they
think
were.
that they'll like combine?
I know that Amon was trying to push Reese to be like the overall
The
High
king,
Lord of, or
yeah.
like king or whatever. And I know he doesn't want that because he's afraid of that.
That's right. Because
So-
I remember they talked about it.
Yeah, because he's afraid people are just gonna want to like people like Baron are just gonna want to overthrow him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I feel like that's going too far into, like, taking away, like, the democracy of what they have.
Right.
Because I think they have a good thing of where they're in charge of their own courts, but they like
Yeah,
all
but now
come
they have to get like
together.
the treaties, right? Isn't that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're
like,
trying to
between
get them
the
to
courts.
sign like a peace treaty or whatever.
Because,
like, what
I
if
mean,
they don't all agree? And
how many are there?
They're just
There's
gonna get rid of Baron.
there's 6 of them, right?
He's like the only problem.
day, night,
Day, night, dawn, spring,
Spring,
summer, autumn,
winter,
Winter, yeah.
winter. 7.
7.
So there's 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got good people in the night court. We've got good people in
Day.
dawn, day, and summer.
Uh-huh.
In winter.
And winter,
And
because
winter,
Callias
yeah,
is
yeah,
in
yeah,
winter,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the only worries are literally
spring.
autumn and spring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, no, not all of these are perfect, because, like, we're not positive about, like, Callias or Callias or whatever sometimes. And what's his name in the dawn
Oh,
court?
aren't her
Thesian.
Thesian, yes.
isn't Callias his wife?
Yes.
Her and Moore are
Yes.
very close.
Yes.
Oh.
She's also High Lady now.
She's High Lady, and she's like a fighter, and she's the one that like held their armies and stuff while he was under the mountain.
Maybe that's where her cabin is in Winter Court.
That's kind of what I've assumed,
Yeah.
because like I assumed like she probably what's her name,
Vivian.
Vivian.
Yeah, I assume like she probably has a clue.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean we're not totally certain on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But we're in decent standing with all
Yeah.
of them. Like
Yeah.
Reese is in good standing with everyone,
Yeah.
right?
And then they're planning on getting Eris and
Right.
Autumn Court. But like, didn't he say that was his plan once all of this was over?
Yeah, like his whole plan is get rid of his dad.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like he
That's
was,
like a big
he was working with Reese to
game
make sure that
plan.
that would happen.
But
Yeah.
they still have to worry about the people on the continent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
other Fae
Yeah.
people.
And then they have to worry about the queens because
Yeah.
of all that
Mm-hmm.
nonsense that happened with Hybern. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we have
Yeah.
to figure
There's
out.
so much
And
still
also
to
there-
like.
There are other worlds too.
Yeah.
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 Because now that Azriel, Nesta, are those only 2 that went into the other world?
They didn't go.
They didn't go,
They didn't
but
go.
Bryce
It was Bryce went to there.
went
Came
there.
to them, but it
Yeah.
was those 2, right?
Yeah,
It was
but like
Az and
she
Nesta?
just like opened a portal. Like people can just open portals to your. It was a huge threat to Valeris. So
Yeah.
had they not handled it, but like it could have been really bad. So like
Yeah.
to think about other worlds that could possibly open portals.
And so, like, we have to assume that this next book is also going to address, oh, guess this is a thing we can do now
We have a new friend named Bryce. And Hunt. Yeah.
from other
And she
world.
had hot pink sneakers that
Yeah.
we'd never seen before.
And red hair.
She had many weird devices
Uh-huh.
that we had no idea. what
Hunt
they
also
were.
had wings, but they were different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they've seen those wings because they have
It's like
Angels.
Thesian.
Oh.
his court.
His-
They have
Yeah, because they said
I
his
forgot about
partner
that.
had wings.
yes.
Right.
And
right.
so did Dracon.
Yes.
Dracon. Yeah.
Yeah, Draco and Miriam,
Oh.
they had people like that.
Gotcha.
They weren't very common, but I know
Right.
that they
Mhm.
were.
Yeah.
Like we've seen them before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Seraphims.
Yes, Seraphim. I just... There's so many questions to be answered.
I don't know how Sarah makes this whole universe in her mind. Like, there's so much, and the way that they all connect Like,
Yeah.
it's wild to me
It's
that it's all the same
it
universe.
truly all blows my mind because like we've all dabbled in writing, right? And obviously I lean towards like contemporary romance style writing. But sometimes when I get bored in like what I'm writing, I think because like I've said before, I'm like such a perfectionist that I'm like, I need a calendar and I need a map. I need to make sure everything I'm saying makes perfect sense on a calendar year and on the map of what this place I'm talking about looks like, right? And I think of how freeing it would be to write fantasy because like you get to build it.
Yeah.
And nobody can be like, actually, that's not how that would work. I'm like, actually, you've never been there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that like freeing feeling of like, okay, if I wanted to write a book and my main character is a detective, I have to figure out what that job looks like. I got to figure out what your day looks like and what you're doing all the time. But if I write that my person is the god of sniffing flowers, you don't know what their day looks like.
Yeah.
I get to invent it. And so I think about like that freeing feeling of writing something that you get to create totally on your own and how fun that could be.
Yeah.
But then I read these fantasy books and I'm like, how many notebooks and whiteboards and Excel spreadsheets do you have of this information to keep it all straight?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why she made Crescent City modern.
Right.
Because, like, at some point...
To give you some
like,
sort of realism and, like, I don't have to invent...
And there's definitely a lot of fantasy aspects in it,
Yeah,
but it
for
still, like,
sure.
has modern-day things, like jobs, and,
Yeah.
like, they have workplaces and restaurants and, like, like, technology.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's, like, she at least has, like, more of, like, a base than, like, completely coming up with everything in her mind.
Right.
Yeah.
But... I still don't know how she does it with all of those
It
books.
truly blows my mind.
She did all of Throne of Glass, and then all of ACOTAR, which is that right there.
Yeah.
It's just a ton of books.
That's
And
a
the fact that she can still make
ton.
them different. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
she's not, like, repeating herself. Like, sure, it's all part of the same universe, and they all, like, have to do with, like, the Fae and stuff, but they're all so different in their
Yeah.
own
They're
ways.
so
And
different.
I love that.
It blows
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah.
Crescent City, honestly, was pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, how she ties everything together.
Oh, yeah.
It really makes me want to, like, dabble in fantasy writing, even if I, like, never do anything in it, almost just for, like, the creative outlet
Yeah.
Yes.
of just, like, making something, you know? Even if I never do anything, just to, like, when I get tired of trying to, like, write in the real world and make sure everything makes sense so that nobody can, like, clock me,
Yeah.
just, like, free write in something that, like, I imagine and I create. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's, like, literally just for, like, the exercise of it.
The only difficult part about it is, because I've been writing some fantasy, it's like making sure things are time accurate.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, would they have technically had these items then? Because I think about it modern day and I'm like, wait, we've only had this in the most recent, like, 200 years. Like, what about way back when?
Right.
How would that have played out in this scenario?
I feel like I would have to write fantasy in, like, a modern or what's the term, like, futuristic
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
standpoint, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I could, like, make my own inventions and make my, you
Right.
know what I mean? And be like, well, they
Yeah.
have this thing and it tells them and it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, come up with something like that
Yeah.
so that, like, you can't clock me. I invented
That's
it.
kind of what Dune did.
Right.
Because it takes place, like, way ahead of when he wrote it. So, like years way in front of it. And it's like, and obviously there's a ton of things you're like, whoa. Like, what the heck is that? And he, like, invents all of these things in
Right.
the world. So, it's definitely doable. And probably a smart idea, too.
There's
Yeah.
a really cool weapon in, I think it's Red Rising. That's what Jordan was reading. But it's
That he's trying
a...
so hard to convince you to read.
Yeah, yeah.
He literally was
Yeah.
like, Hannah, you have to make Haley read Red Rising. I said, I won't make Haley do anything.
Thank you. I told him, let me get through Throne of Glass, because that's my #1 priority. And then when I'm done with all 8 of those books, we'll talk about it.
In a year and a
In
half.
a year and a half when I'm done.
We'll revisit the
I'm-
idea of me potentially ever reading it at some point in my life.
I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm like casually reading it, and I'm on book 3.
Yeah, no, that is
So-
impressive.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a thing there where it's like a sword, but it can go into a whip. So it's a whip, but he said whenever they whip it, it turns into a sword.
Oh.
So like that's really cool. I was like,
That
it's called
is.
something, but I can't remember what. So he was like, and they can go back and forth with it. So like whip, and then go into a sword, and then like put it back into a whip. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool.
That's kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Yeah, I think it's the Red Rising series.
Right.
Probably.
But
It's like Crescent City. They make a lot of like new weapons and stuff that like don't really need your explanation.
Dude,
Yeah.
sometimes I be reading these like fight scenes in ACOTAR. I'm like, you guys got guns?
yeah,
You got guns?
where them guns at?
Where the guns?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, ACAB. But like,
Ah.
I just,
Read Crescent City.
I'm just like, hey, you're fairies. Just like,
Ooh,
like hyper,
Yeah.
just like, pew.
and there's this scene in Crescent City.
Azrael would be a sniper.
Oh,
Oh
my
my gosh,
god!
He would be a sniper.
I want to
That
watch
man
that.
would be
Bring
up
him
in
to
the
Crescent City so he
buildings.
can learn how
He
to
would
use
be
one.
up in the
Oh.
highest building. Nobody would see him, and he would be a long distance
I want
freaking.
to see Azrael with a gun. But there's a scene where Bryce has. There's like several scenes where Bryce has guns, and in real life, guns are so scary.
Oh yeah,
But like in fantasy, it's fine. But there's like a couple scenes in Crescent City where Bryce has guns, and it's like I'm drooling. Like I wanna see that.
Cassian would just have a Glock,
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
and Az would be the sniper in the back
Uh-huh. Yeah.
with a silencer on that bitch.
What about Reese? What do you have the assault rifle?
Have it in his back. Amryn has a whole tank.
She does. She's driving a tank.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's so.
I
good.
want to see them all with guns.
I think Feyre would want to be like a sniper rifle. You know what I
I was
mean?
gonna
It's
say
like
that
she
like
would
a
be like,
grenade thrower.
Yeah, I feel like Cassian would love grenades.
Yeah.
He's
I
just like,
love
you get a grenade.
grenades.
You get a grenade.
Or no, he puts mines down. He puts
He would put mines down, bro. He
He says,
would.
wait. He says, watch this, watch this.
He just.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, I did that.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there giggling.
Uh-huh.
I love him,
Oh,
baby.
love Cassian.
Guys,
How
our
are we here
time's
already?
up.
I know. I want to talk about ACOTAR more. Actually, it's not enough.
Guys, we even had a game idea.
We did.
We had a game.
I told
Next
you.
time.
I told you we were not.
Alanis
gonna
and
do
I were going to talk more about our bookstore.
I know. But we just got really into those
it.
ACOTAR
Yeah.
theories.
I feel like we need to make this like a once a month
Yeah.
Yeah.
revisit, you know?
Yeah.
Where we just spew theories.
Yeah. If you have any theories,
Oh my
please leave them
God.
in the comments. Like, if you
Yes.
disagree with us on anything we
Yes.
said,
Please-
if you agree with us.
Disagree with everything I say. That's
Yeah.
so fun. I love to argue.
Yeah.
No, disagree with Alanis.
Shut
It's even
up.
better. I promise it's even better.
It's not
Is it not better?
It's
not
better unless
better.
you want to live. If you
It's- but-
value your life,
But for the content,
but for the content,
let Alanis read some comments that disagree with her and just let her monologue.
yeah, we're just silent the whole video.
Dude,
That's why when we're talking about Tamlin, Hannah does not look at me.
you saw me, I zoned in right here. I physically turned my body.
She either looks right at the camera or looks right into Haley's eyes. And I said, I see you. You're
She'll
not looking.
be staring at me and I'm like, locked in. It's just me.
Yeah, well, what can I say? You got an opinion that's different than mine? Let's hear it.
She actually
Yeah.
doesn't approve of those.
No.
Or
Well, let's hear
anything,
it.
anything new that we didn't talk about. Please,
Oh, yeah.
feel free.
Dude, I love a good theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare that I complete an entire series to the point where, like, I can just talk freely like this.
Yeah.
You know? Because I'm just, like, not really a completionist. That's just something in my core that I'm working on. But the fact
did
that
it
I
so
can,
far.
like, sit here, like I did it with ACOTARs. Like, we can sit here and
Yeah.
monologue and just go off about
Yeah.
all these different ideas. It's fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll read Crescent City and we can do about Crescent City one day.
We should. That's another reason I want to finish Throne of Glasses so I can like have the whole
Yeah,
verse in
I
my
want the
mind
whole-
and think about
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
theories.
My problem, because like we talked about, it's so long and it's so daunting to like go into. But then I think like me a year from now that's done it all, you can't say anything to me. You can't be like, well, are you ever going to read these? I already did.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's like, I already did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to turn this off before it beeps it up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Thanks for listening to us rant
Yeah.
and talk about.
We had some
ACOTAR.
funny moments. We had some serious moments.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for being here.
It's been so fun.
It's always a fun time.
I can only imagine the TikTok clips Haley's going to pull from this one.
I've been really bad about that. So sorry, guys.
May's been awful.
I literally didn't post last week.
I was gonna ask. I'm glad you didn't because I
Listen,
thought
we
I missed.
also had video and audio issues.
Oh my god, last week was
Yeah.
awful.
To be honest, my week was already going really awful, so I kind of
We had a full weekend,
Yeah.
an awful week.
Yeah.
The weekend was completely packed.
Mm-hmm.
The video cut out twice.
2 times, yeah.
Like, it just...
I only got like maybe a total of like what 30 minutes of
Of
video?
actual film.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
It was
so stupid.
awful.
Yeah.
So
Honestly,
I just,
you guys missed out though. We were pretty funny. It was kind of cute.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
We were
we'll
playing
get just the
miniature
audio.
Uno.
Maybe we'll get just like the
Yeah.
audio up one day.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
one day
yeah,
we'll
we'll
sound
work up
good.
to that.
We'll see.
Right now you can hear us, and that's all that counts. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We love y'all. I
Thanks
hope you
for
enjoyed
hanging.
it. Next week, we'll probably talk about a book, but we don't know a book yet.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll let
I'm
you
in
know.
between vacations next week.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's in between vacations.
I'm gonna cruise this weekend, and the next weekend I'm back in Cali.
So.
So it's busy.
Yeah.
Busy season. Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway, we'll update you.
We'll let you know.
Like, subscribe, comment
Like,
All the
subscribe,
things.
come,
Link tree
follow us,
is in there.
Turn on notifications.
now.
Oh yeah.
Punch that subscribe. Oh my god. We love y'all. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok though.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones.
TikTok.
Uh huh.
We're very funny.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. We love you. And we will see you next time.